Salvation is this simple. John 3:16 says, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life." It's that simple. Sadly, there's some people out there who don't believe that salvation should be that simple. Some people believe that you have to believe plus works equals salvation. But here's the thing. You're just not good enough. Let's talk about it. Thanks for joining us on That Christian Fam. If growing in the faith is important to you, hit that subscribe button, because over here we like to encourage, empower, and give you everyday Christian advice on real life situations. We drop videos every Tuesday and Friday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. So while you're at it, hit that notification bell, because for the first half hour, we respond to comments immediately. All right, y'all, let's dive into it. You're not good enough. What am I talking about? There's a dangerous assumption that you can base your salvation off works. Because if you start off giving to the poor, you're saved. But if you stop giving to the poor, are you saved? If you start volunteering your time, you're saved. But if you stopped volunteering your time, are you still saved? If you read your word and you pray to God for a month straight and then you take off a week, did you lose your salvation? If you base it off a merit system, who's in charge of the merit? Who says what's enough and what ain't enough? See, we live down south here in Dallas, Texas. And Texas is considered to be the buckle of the Bible Belt. Now, you might automatically think that that's a good thing, but it can be a very dangerous thing, because down here in the South, there's a lot of folk who are just polite, courteous. They open doors for people. They say, "Yes, ma'am." They say, "Yes, sir." We say grace at dinner, and everybody just assumes, since people are very polite and very courteous and very kind, that, hey, they must know God. Even within the black community, one of the first questions we ask them here in the South is, okay, so what church you go to? We just assume that since we here in the South and we black, that we go to church. Yeah, we go to church, but that don't guarantee that we know the groom of the church, who is Jesus Christ. See, a lot of, if not all other religions, base their salvation off works, like how much you do. How did you earn the way of life that you have? How did you earn the grace you have? And what's so dope about the gospel is it's not based on how good you've been, but it's based on what Jesus did. See, there's certain factions in the church that preach and teach a plus religion. What do I mean by that? In other words, they believe that salvation equals faith plus works, and they put works as the root. But the gospel is faith equals salvation. And after your mind has been regenerated, you can expect the works to follow, which is the fruit, not the root of your salvation. I ain't gonna take credit for that wonderful illustration. I got that from a Netflix documentary called American Gospel. Y'all check it out when y'all get time. If you agree with anything I've said, or this is helping you at all, please like this video and subscribe. I remember years ago, I invited someone from work to my church, and he was like, "Man, I ain't gonna come to your church." And I was like, "Why?" And he was like, "Well, you know, you do everything right. Like you come to work on time. You don't cheat on your time sheet. You know, you're married to your wife. Of course, you don't step out on her. You don't go to the club. You don't drink. You don't smoke. You don't believe in lying and things like that. And I could never be like you. Like, I'm so far from you, it ain't even funny." And what I'm thinking in my mind, like, look, bruh, I was not born saved. I didn't grow up in a saved household neither. I didn't come to church until I was a teen. I didn't come out the womb singing songs and hymns to Jesus. God has done a wonderful work of grace in my life and mercy in my life. And it's only by his grace that I am what I am today. You looking at the chapter you met me in, but little do you know, there's some previous chapters, and I wasn't always this person that you see standing before you today. And he was like, "Yeah, man, I'm just gonna go ahead and chill. I'm gonna just wait till I get it right. I ain't ready yet, but when I get it right, I'm gonna come to church." And I told him, I'm like, "Look, bruh, you ain't never gonna be right. You will never get it right. I'm in church and I will never get it right. There is no getting it right. You will never be good enough to come to church. You'll never be good enough for salvation." If we think Think about the disciples. When Jesus called the disciples to follow him, he didn't say, get your house right and then follow me. He didn't say, become perfect and then follow me. He didn't say, clean up your act, clean up your whole household and then come follow me. He simply told them, look, come follow me. And if they decided to follow him, they followed him. And what happened? As they began to develop a closer relationship with Jesus, their lives changed. Well, Jesus is not requiring anything more of us. It's simply come to him, develop a relationship. And as you develop a relationship with someone that you love, your heart and your lives will begin to change. Jesus is standing at the door of your heart and knocking. And if you let him in, he'll come in and develop a relationship with you and you with him. Jesus loves you, and he loves you enough to meet you where you at, but he loves you too much to leave you where you at. I don't know who I'm talking to, but tomorrow's not promised. Come to Jesus while you have time.
Walk into a situation just to run rejected. I thought I was better than last year. A mirror says it all when I'm seeing my past fears. My steps already blown with a love or a landmine. These old wounds bringing back up thoughts of my past tears.